And now it's time for that special moment of the night. So without further ado, here are your 3 honorees for the Lifetime Achievement Award for Tooting the Loudest Horn.
Who are the 5 best rappers of all time? Think about it. Dylon, 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 and Dylon. Because I spit hot fire.
I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times.
Bad. I done wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Who could do a better than? Who could do a better than? Well, I could. I'm very good at that. I'm so good at tooting my own horn. Don't even think. Actually, enjoy the episode. I'm gonna enjoy the episode.
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What the f*** is he talking about?
Oh yeah. So, you know who it is, you know what it is. Welcome to Appraise the Phrase, Origins of Everyday Expressions, where we're here to do 3 things. Unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of common everyday phrases. It's me, Mario, here today. I did a whole thing earlier that I'm not going to do now, but the same thing I will do is introduce my guy, my brother, my co-host, 20 Williams, is in the building as usual. What's good, bro?
Good, man. Like I said, I'm just trying to get through it, you know what I'm saying? Nothing negative, just what's going on in the world today. Just gotta make sure we keep our minds right. Count our blessings.
Count them up, man. Give me one blessing you got off top.
I'm here. I'm doing this podcast with you. I got my kids. All of them are healthy. They're doing good too as well, man. I know that's 2 of them, but I got to make sure that I put that in there, man. Because I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, no, I'm actually honored that this moment here is up there with the celebration of your children, who are lovely, and I miss them, and I can't wait to get down to Miami again and see them.
Yeah, man. They love you too, man. Yeah. And also another blessing is that Miami Heat. I know we not supposed to timestamp, but Miami Heat pushed it to a game 7. So hopefully, by the time this one comes out, we'll be either in the championship or we'll be champions. So
yeah, it's gonna come out before y'all are champs, but it might be. I was talking to one of my old OGs, man, and he thinks that Jimmy Buckets gave it all in Game 6. I think that the emotion from that will flow into Game 7 at a home game. I don't think y'all gassed, man. So if I'm gonna put it on record, I'm gonna put it on record.
Bro, this dude, he's already had, 4 40-point games? So it's like, it's not like they gave him. I see if he did 60 or, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I feel like 60, you're exerting yourself on 60 plus points. Yeah. But I mean, 40 points nowadays for these guys that are like just shooting from the half court.
Right. It's a different game, different way to get buckets.
If you're hitting 8 threes or 10 threes, you know what I'm saying? You're taking 10 shots and all of them are threes. You know what I mean? Like that's 30 right there. So it's like you should be able to make more. You should be able to shoot more than 10 shots.
There we go. No, if you're a professional.
Majority of the superstars, they shooting 20 shots a game. So
yeah, 29. Cool. Man. Well, I have no dog in that fight, but I lived in Boston for a little bit, and it would be kind of annoying to go back, and they were in the finals. So I'll say that much. But we are here today. I am very excited today because our guest that is with us and joining us, it's a familial bond. It's a thing that actually cements what we've been trying to do for 2 seasons or a season and some change now. So let me not waste no more time bringing out Brittany, author of Etymology Rules. Do I have to explain it? I will. The connection, etymology, what we do. Come on, y'all. There's an author who wrote a book about etymology. Brittany, what's good? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And I am excited to talk to other people who are curious about origins and language and where that can go. So I'm excited.
Word. Thank you. Hold up.
Actually, Mario, can you expand on what etymology is for people who
please.
don't actually know what it is? You know?
Yeah, hip us to more about it.
So etymology is the study of the origin of words, and it comes from the Greek etymon, which means truth, and then ology is the study of. And so you're probably familiar with other ologies like biology and psychology. So this is etymology.
Hey, and tell us more about etymology rules.
Etymon is like Greek for truth.
Yeah.
If I ever drop another one on this earth, y'all already know what it means.
You better do it before me, man.
Straight up, man.
You know, but you know what's funny? You know how black people don't name their kids unless it's a nice nickname to go with it.
I know. I'm like, no, what are we gonna call them though? Yeah,
it'd be like Monty.
Yeah.
It's mine. Just so y'all know, it's mine. I don't have kids, so I gotta have that.
Oh, okay. You know what? It would be messed up, 20. You're right. It would be messed up that Brittany come and bless us with this information, and we all three of our children go. Next time we get on the show.
No, Etymon, no pun intended, but you want to know the origin of your name? No pun intended, but
Hey, well, real quick before we get into the phrase of today, Brittany, tell us a little bit more about Etymology Rules and what you do.
So, Etymology Rules is actually a brand where I publish books. My first book is called Back to Basics, and it's really designed to just teach people about the basics of language, from a phoneme and a grapheme all the way up to where words come from. And I was inspired to do this because I am a middle school reading specialist, and I could go on for days about that.
Oh, we're gonna let you get going. All right, bet. Let's get into the phrase of the day, of today, of this episode. And this phrase, for me, I like it. I rock with it. When I came up on it, when it like flashed, because this is one that actually flashed in real time, and it came to me like I have to add that to the list because I like it's something. The thing that it does, I promote actually. Like we need more of it to balance out the other stuff going on around us. So the phrase of today, to add content, to eliminate having to figure it out, it's actually don't toot your own horn. Don't toot your own horn, but I'm gonna say toot your own horn. Don't toot your own horn / toot your own horn 20. What is your connection with toot your own horn?
Well, I mean, when you say toot your own horn, like it depends on I feel like it depends on the person. Mm-hmm. It could be either negative or positive. Majority of the time, when someone's saying toot your own horn, it's more of a I wouldn't say negative, but an annoyance type of deal. Like when it's a situation where we don't need that right now. You get what I'm saying? We don't need that right now. So I maybe that's just my negative ass life that I've been through. But majority of the time when it's like tooting your own horn, bro, it's like more of a situation of,
that don't come in front of it a lot, right?
Yeah, that don't come in front of it a lot on my end.
Yeah.
On my end, it don't come in front of it a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Brittany, talk to me. Connection. Oh, go ahead.
Like go ahead. No. I just want to extend on it a little bit. I just don't want to leave it hanging without a punctuation. But it's like more of a situation of, because if you are, people look at it as bragging. You get what I'm saying? Like, or being a prima donna, or being, you know what I'm saying, not being a team player.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to me and my I guess my experience with tooting your own horn was more or less like you say, on the don't end, as opposed to go ahead and let them know what you're about.
Go ahead and let them know what you's about. Brittany, talk to me. Toot your own horn. What's your connection?
The first thing that came to my mind was how people will say, like, I don't like to toot my own horn, but, and then they
and then they get
the right? So I'm like, actually, I think you do like to toot your own horn. Right? So in the spirit of that, I really don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm going to, as an example, because I shared earlier that I am selling my book to my faculty at the school I teach at. So all the teachers will have to read it this summer. That's a big thing for me. So.
Hey, you know what? That's a big thing for all of us. Congratulations. That's dope. That's so dope. We were saying off air that it's important, man. It's important that this type of thing gets into the hands of people. I love that they have to, because for me, in the essence of this show, and essence in general, in the root of things are so important. It's one of my deepest values. I think it's one of the greatest ways that we can connect to add true context. Where did this come from? Where did this come from? How did it get to where it's at today? And should we scrap where it is today because the essence meant more and we should work back to that? Or that's nasty. The essence was nasty. The root was nasty. How it's used now is even nastier. Yeah. That type of thing matters because it shapes what we do. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy that your book is getting purchased. And we're gonna make sure that
support, man.
We're gonna make sure that's in the show notes.
You know how we be. You know how we be. We think of support is us giving shit away for free, and that ain't support. That ain't support, bro.
Look, I gotta do. I'm not Uncle Sam, and he actually on my back, but I'm gonna do the Uncle Sam point to the camera. Like, look, purchase the book now. For a few fans, for a few listeners, I will say that we will be dropping a newsletter that encompasses a giveaway that will be giving away a few of the Etymology Rules books. We will purchase them and give them away.
Of course.
But if you are not a winner of that giveaway, that will already be launched by the time this comes out, man, go show love and purchase and get with it. All right? Cool, man. Let's get into Webster's definition of, and they're just gonna have to miss out on the thing I said last time. I'm gonna call it off air. That's between us now. That Webster's thing. That's between us three.
That becomes a wink, unless someone
picks
chooses
W,
the letter W.
Ooh, a little foreshadowing. All right, let's get into Webster's definition of toot your own horn, with don't in parentheses in front. And Webster's describes toot your own horn as to talk boastfully about oneself or one's achievements. And I like, as I jump right into my reaction to that, I like the or part there, where it's like talk about you or talk about what you've done. Either way, talk about it boastfully. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it can be only achievement, right? Instead of just like, yo, look, I'm me, and here's what I'm going to brag about me about. You know what I mean? Just the generality, like my character, stuff like that. So now that we hear the definition, Brittany, lead us off. How does that make you feel? Now that, because I will say, like, there's a little bit more, that boastfully part props it a little bit more than all of our original connections to it. So how do you feel about the definition?
Knowing that, I will say, I don't even know if me like acknowledging an accomplishment or something about me is necessarily tooting your own horn, right? Because if you add that adjective of, or I guess that's an adverb of saying you're doing so boastfully, you're talking about yourself boastfully, then it makes me think, well, what is the line? Like, where is it just I'm sharing all the great things and then I'm boasting?
Ooh, I'm about to do some Googles. Well, 20. You tell me about your connection, but I'm about to do some Googles for the word boast.
I'm gonna tell you 1 second on my connection, but I want to kind of like address what she just said. I feel like it's a way of like, if I ask you, then I don't think it's that kind of trims down the boasting part. You know what I mean? But if it's not even asked or required, I feel like that's where the boasting levels get higher. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like the way I feel, you know what I mean, about it is just like that's the situation with me. With me, I'm more of I'm not gonna say nothing unless you come correct or you come incorrect. You get what I'm saying? Like either way, I'm gonna say so. You get what I'm saying? Like, because I'm a humble guy, bro. I'm a super humble guy, some people might say I boast about being humble. You know what I'm saying? Or I toot my own horn about being humble. But it's a gentle toot. It's a humble toot, bro. You get what I'm saying? Now,
you tweet your own horn?
I am
right.
It's just one of those tap toots. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I ain't trying to scare you because you're on your phone texting. But it's one of those, hey, the light's green. You know what I'm saying?
Light's green. No pressure. No. We all want to go.
No pressure at all.
Yeah.
No pressure at all. I left early for a reason, but the light's green. You get what I'm saying? Like one of those. That's the type of me. That's me, bro.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Now, on the different aspect, like I am, I am currently with someone that definitely toots their own horn, and when in every aspect of the meaning. In the definition, and I love her dearly. She's my future wife, but yeah, her nickname from me is Toot because how much she toots her own horn.
That's a great nickname.
And it's like it's things where it's like a simple, I bought that right. You know what I'm saying? Or you like this? You like this? Yeah, that was all me, right? That was all me.
That's actually
but
fire.
It's like it's oh dude, like it's one of those situations where you can get accustomed to it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how some people can be annoying or some people can be rude or some people can be these things. But when you come to know that person, you get accustomed to that person. It's like, not that you welcome it or accept it, but it's just like, yeah, you wouldn't be you without that.
Yeah, exactly. And
you know what I'm saying? Like
I big up it, man. I big up it mainly because, like I said at the start of the show, we need more of that. Like that needs to be more of a thing that's settled and comfortable because we're just rebalanced. To me, it's a rebalance. Like, golly, like can people know how good they feel about themselves? Like more? That's where I'm at with it. Yeah. Let me get to. I looked up boast so that we're not throwing our own sauce on it. So it's to talk with excessive pride and self-satisfaction. So that would make it boasting. So as you're talking about your achievements or yourself and you get a self-satisfaction from it, and it's with excessive pride. So like you're proud of it. And then we'd have to dig deeper on the word pride because I have feelings about that. But right. You know what I mean? Like excessive pride, I don't know. That seems redundant based on how we understand pride. You know what I mean? Because I think from my understanding, people say pride is, J. Cole got a song, "Pride is the devil," and then it's actual another phrase that we might have to look into. But it's like,
yeah, but what if somebody says like, I have pride in my, I don't know, in my race, where I'm from, like things that, in those senses, I think when something is usually looked down upon, then we use the word pride in a positive way.
Yeah.
But if it's already seen as something great, then you being prideful or boastful is
I like
annoying.
that.
I like that a lot. It speaks for itself. So it's like, right. Okay. So this takes me back to where 20 said, like, if you are asked and you get a self-satisfaction out of it, it's like, okay, that's, you know what I'm saying? But if you like the tweet, there's the tweets and the memes, like nobody, and then it's a blank no.
I love those.
And then me, and then like that's what like boastfulness is. It's like nobody said nothing to me, but like, man, y'all, I'm wearing the hell out these shoes today, dog. Like you feel me? Like I dunked today for the first time. That type of thing. Bet. Okay, let's keep it rolling, man. I love it. This is great. I love it. Let's get into the origin, y'all. I would just like to note, and I'm going to say this on air live, that when that's going on, and I should probably start to like jokingly in pre-air, pre-recording, is like whenever that's going on, you could literally do anything illegal or whatever you feel like doing because there's a cutaway. Like, so you won't be on camera. So when I'm doing that, like a person could be like, all right, I'm about to do whatever you wanted to do. Get that.
That's good to know. Very good to know.
Yeah, whenever that's coming up, there's a cutaway. There's no camera, so you could literally like re-up on whatever your favorite thing is. But let's get into the origin, man. So, like I said before, there's don't toot your own horn, which is what 20 experiences most with this phrase. Before that, the phrase actually was don't blow your own trumpet, which is an English, it derives from the English idiom. And they got that from the ancient tradition of announcing the arrival of someone royal, someone regal, or an important guest with the fanfare of horns. So like blowing up and trumpets specifically, you know what I mean? Because, you know, there wasn't too many brass instruments, I'm assuming, back then. So the trumpet was winning, and maybe it was easy to learn. And again, I mentioned this in pre-recording, that like when I was watching Power Rangers growing up, and I would watch on closed caption because I love language, I love reading, I love learning and stuff. That's me tooting my own horn, by the way. In ways that like when the Green Ranger would blow his whistle dagger thing, flute dagger, it would say plays fanfare. And I'm like, what the hell is fanfare? Little me, I didn't say hell. I'm like, what is fanfare? That's a stupid word. But
you said hell.
I did. Why did I do that? Why did I just do that?
Look around and see if Miss Vicky was.
I definitely in my head said, what the hell? It's okay, man. I turned out to be a decent person, I feel like. And still says hell. And so I'm like, that is it, that fanfare, that doot, 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 or whatever that sound is to announce an important person coming into the room. Shoot. So that actually was first ascribed and written in this specific way in the King James Bible. And it wasn't explicitly spelled out as blowing a trumpet in the King James Bible, but it appeared in Matthew 6 as take heed that you do not give your alms before men to be seen. Your alms before men to be seen. So they are basically putting the don't. In Matthew, King James is putting the don't in front of toot your own horn. Take heed that ye do not give your alms before men to be seen. So don't actually blow all that trumpet, blow all that horn and make all that noise just to be seen. Now, before I pull in y'all's thoughts on Matthew 6 and King James, let me actually say the full verse for context, because that would be unfair. So it's take heed that you do not give your alms before men to be seen. Otherwise, you have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou dost thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. So basically, it's more like, don't do it for the sake of, do it because you love it, not just so you can blow the trumpet. You feel me? Yeah. So that's where the don't come from. 20, talk to me, because you reference King James a lot. Like that's your
no, you're right. I mean that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? That takes it from talking about yourself, though. I feel like in a sense, you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it takes it from talking about yourself to an aspect of, you know, just doing something just to be doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel like it takes away from, you know, you actually being able to do something, and it puts it in a realm of you're doing it just for the acknowledgement.
Yes. Which is an extra layer from the phrase for me, but I'll get into that after. Right. It does
layer it up a little bit, because it's like, you know, when we go back to pride, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that takes pride that takes it away, because, you know what I mean? Like, you just, it turns from pride to gratification, right?
Yeah. And in a way, I mean, because before I get into it, because I might throw us on a tangent, but hold that, 20, hold that, put that in your pocket, ball your fists up. Brittany, where you at with the Matthew 6 in its entirety, but where it comes from as far as like, hey, the hypocrites be blowing their trumpets, so don't do that.
I mean, it makes me think about today's culture. I think we exist in a world where, you know, we live in a world where we're all trying to, like, not all of us, but people are trying to get seen. And so they're doing things to get seen. And, you know, sometimes you need to be seen. Maybe you're doing something that's really dope, so you have to be flashy. You know, like I started making reels, and I'm purely doing it so people will see me. But it's because I want people to see me in my book and then buy it so they'll be educated on something. So it definitely has a good, I have good intentions, but then sometimes people just want to be seen because they want clout.
Right.
And so,
Right.
you know, there's a fine line. I don't know if it's like an objective thing where I could say, I know this person is purely doing it because they want clout. I don't know if I could tell.
Right.
I don't know if I could tell. So.
Right.
It's hard, man, because like I guess this new thing out is taking pictures in front of people's cars and shit like that. Like you see it all the time. Like I see it all the time here in Miami. It's like, dude, like it's blowing up now. I feel like it's blowing up now that people are more aware of it now. But like people faking it. The one that's going around now is Buddy that jumped out the helicopter with the door closed. Like or some shit like that, like he started off saying, "Man, make sure you get the bag." You know what I'm saying? But he's like it's a helicopter, Mario, right? And as I guess somebody said action, and he just hopped like this, like he hopped out of the helicopter, doors closed, no propellers, no nothing on. You get what I'm saying? But he hopped out like, "Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Got to get my bag." And people are calling him out on it to the point where it was actually something that like the people are making fun of. But nowadays you see people clout chasing, taking pictures in front of people's cars or taking pictures in front of other things that people.
Y'all remember when Bow Wow was dragged for like faking like he's in the private jet? Like that's exactly that.
Yo, this is what I want to. Rest in peace. I want to be like America. I want to Bernie. Y'all told me this. I want to turn to the camera, ignore y'all, and say, America. Goddamn America, like this is what's going on. This is what people are doing. Yo, it's crazy. This is why I didn't want to go to my point, but now I'm gonna bring it back because I didn't know that was happening. And shame. I know shame is powerful, and I don't want to use it to the oppressed or the minority, but shame to the stupid shit like that. Is with this part with Matthew 6 and what both of you brought is like. For me, I like Toot Your Own Horn because of I said like the rebalancing, I guess, of all this fake shit, and the part where like the layer behind Toot Your Own Horn is like, did you do the thing that you're tooting about sincerely, which I don't even think about when I think about the phrase. Like I don't know if it's just me, but I automatically assume that the thing you're tooting your own horn about was done sincerely. For whatever reason. So I don't think about that, but Matthew 6 and all this is making me think like, okay, the people that do be tooting their horn like the loudest are the ones that's doing it so that they can get right to the horn. Like I got like when they video themselves giving charity to the homeless. Like that was another fad, and that's where I stopped. I didn't know niggas was faking out of helicopters and all that shit, or doing it. I didn't know that shit was happening. So, yeah,
you know what's crazy about that is that like you right about that, Mario, because that's when I had enough too as well. But I was just like, you would never see like even people that I knew were doing it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it was like the only time I've ever heard them doing it is when. Conveniently, you had your phone out recording yourself giving a to-go box to someone on a, you know what I'm
saying? Literally, like I have in those moments, I'm so much like, please let this satisfy you, or I am sorry, I don't carry cash no more. Like my phone is like it's actually too quick of a moment for me. Every time it's happening, I'm like, I really just want this to be as humane for you as possible and as almost like the complete opposite, as low key for me as possible. Like I hope you are sincere. I'm believing that you're sincere. I'm giving you what I can, or I'm apologetic for not having cash on me. I'm gonna keep moving though, because I don't want you to turn up. I don't want this to be a thing. Like you're a human, I'm a human.
Yeah.
I wish you had things. Like, and if I can help, I can help. So that I don't even know how like the phone comes into play unless you really are like, set the phone up. You see that homeless dude over there? He seems tame enough. You feel me?
We're about to go change his life one plate with one plate.
So what about when Drake did the God's Plan video?
Ooh, you put me in the conflict here. I'm a big Drake fan, so you're putting me in conflict here.
Listen, you can be a fan of somebody and still critique a thing.
Absolutely. So my thing is with that is, I
feel like that's different.
Yeah, I do think it's a bit different. One, it's great video content for a song, for the song for what it is, right? And it was clever enough to be like, all right, nigga, like you can't keep flashing all this shit in our face, like at that point. But two, I think he is pretty quietly philanthropic. I think that's his whole demeanor. So it was like, I think that was just an expression of his sincerity, and it was just good marketing. Like I think it was a where it wasn't obsessive. So I think it wouldn't fall under Toot Your Own Horn, but it was worth a toot.
You know what my thing is? Like I feel like because the things that he was doing were life changing. You get what I'm saying? Like potentially this is changing someone's life regardless if you're recording it or not. You get what I mean? Now, if when the cameras are off, the nigga asks for the money back. Yeah, that's something different. You get what I'm saying? That's something different. You get what I'm saying? You feel me? My problem is with the people that do it, and they're taking people their leftovers or something like that. Or like I have a problem with, and I don't want to get away from the subject at hand. Yeah. But since I have this platform, people stop taking. If you're gonna give a homeless person something to eat, buy them a complete meal. Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna give these leftovers to somebody can eat. Somebody's homeless, and you're like, you're not doing nothing for them, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, even though you feel like your conscience is getting better and you want to, that's a way of tooting your own horn or thinking that you're a good person. So here, let me give this person my leftovers. No, bro. Bro. That's more narcissism than anything.
I'm with that.
For me personally.
I'm with that.
For me personally.
I'll sign that petition, bro.
So when it comes to Drake, like if you're giving somebody like 10 bands or more, I feel like 10 bands can right now change somebody's whole trajectory.
Feel you.
Yeah,
Feel you.
I would agree. And I just like to ask questions just to play devil's advocate. But
season one, devil's advocate. Go ahead.
So I think it's a signal to people. Like, you could be, I mean, you're probably not as rich as Drake, but you can have money and be fly. I mean, I'm definitely not even a smidgen, right? But you can have money, you could be fly, you could do all this great shit that you enjoy, but like also remember this is what you're supposed to do with your money. I think that's what that signaled. And then on the flip side, like, so I watch a lot of reality TV, and like all of them, every housewife, I know them. I know all their names,
like
all
clearing
that shit.
it up. No, not casually.
Look, right, exactly. Just so everybody know. And so like they always consistently, because it's a format every season, and one part of the season, like, they're doing something philanthropic, and it's like, yeah, but it's just this one part. Like, this is not your everyday life. Usually you doing all the Gucci and all that shit.
Yeah,
exactly. That is, tooting your own horn.
Right.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, that's real. I'm glad you brought that up, because those are the things that are louder. Those are the loudest parts of our society. Like you said, you're not the only one watching these shows, right? And that's the pass that they get, and that's kind of the pass that we give. All right, let's hit the next round of origin info. Let's jump to 1549. So we got biblical times where it says, don't blow the trumpet. That carried all the way through, This is King James, so that must have been, to me, my connection is that, okay, that is how they translated that. During that time, that it must have been going, I would be willing to bet some form of finance that it was not that in Hebrew. I think they probably formatted that. But there's an example of don't blow your own trumpet in 1549 to paraphrase of Erasmus upon the New Testament. Okay, so this was Miles Coverdale's written word. And he said, let them never so much with their blazing words boast themselves. Blessing is no longer used in that context, but in the 16th century, they thought to have meant it as boastful. So blazing was boastful in that thing where he said, let them never so much with their blazing words boast themselves. So again, this is along the lines of don't. Is standing the test of time. The don't part of Toot Your Own Horn. And if I can connect it a little bit before we move to the next part, we're kind of saying the same thing in today's society. We're like, yeah, toot your own horn, but what we see is like let's actually not do it the way we're doing it. So it got to the U.S. in 1776 as a declaration of self-independence, as it's published in Warren Adams' letters. So this is John Adams, Sam Adams, and where's my guy? And James Warren. Okay, so they had actual letters to each other, and these were put together around, obviously, 1776, around the same time as the Declaration of Independence, as they were communicating, talking normal, like politician, white American, the development of white America. So take that and add context and please. And in those letters was written the sentence, I think modesty is highly overrated as a virtue. My motto is toot your own horn, lest the same never be tooted. And that was in Warren Adams' letters. Now, as I was digging, I wasn't about to read these niggas' letters yet, I guess. I wasn't about to read the letters to figure out which one said that to which. But
right.
the essence of it is where I actually, stand in agreement. I'm gonna stand in line with either Sam Adams, and that's Sam Adams, or John Adams, or James Warren, by saying, toot your own horn, lest the same never be tooted. Like, who else is going to toot your own horn? And that's where I kind of wanted to dig deep in this, because someone was like, either it was on TV or something in passing, and it was like, don't toot your own horn. I'm like, yo. Or they said, like, not to toot my own horn. I'm like, no, please don't preface, because who else going to do that? It's your horn. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I sit with Adams and them. So let me actually add a little bit more context to these letters. So these letters are a correspondence of them between the years of 1743 and 1777. So before the Declaration of Independence was officially written, and then a year after. And it shows the early political development of John Adams and Sam Adams. Again, they were two big, important figures in the American Revolution. So very important to know, like, they're a driving force into the iterative points of what we see as our nation today.
Both were presidents, no?
Sam was not. Sam did beers.
Sam wasn't a president?
I was about to say, isn't that the beer guy?
That's the beer guy. They're relatives, though.
Okay.
And then so there's another thing here where it's like, if you were if you were the brother or sibling of somebody important, the thing that you were doing was going to be the biggest thing. So it's not to say Sam Adams made the best beers. It's that Sam Adams was John Adams' brother and he made beer. That's just how I feel about it. And then,
wasn't it two Adams in office though? No.
It's
yes.
John Quincy.
No.
Yeah.
John Quincy Adams, and then John Adams.
Yep. And many of the important events in the early revolution they were a part of, including the Boston Massacre and the First and Second Continental Congresses. And they write about those in depth. So it's the letters between John Adams, Sam Adams, and James Warren. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. I'm a tad bit interested because of them coming with it. And you remember, these are people that wore the wigs, had their calves out with the stockings, had the very frilly cuffs, sleeves, and one of them said, toot your own horn, dog, because nobody else gonna do it. Don't be modest. It's highly overrated. This is actually another lesson.
That's the way.
Go ahead.
That's the way of the dandy, though. They sound like dandies, and I'm just saying.
Educate me. Dandy, hit us. Tell me more.
You remember that song, Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony?
Yeah.
And something they say about a dandy in there.
Yep,
So it's like, it's a little bit like of a delicate man. Really.
These old 3 delicate written letters like, hey, man, I'm going to talk about me, because who else going to talk about me? And I get it if you're talking about, go ahead, 20.
No, I was just going to make a comic relief.
Please.
Do you think they wrote the letters and then handed it to them? Because that's real dandy too as well. That's some dandy ass shit. Like
I'm not going to say this.
I have a lot to say to you, but I wrote it down in a letter. Can you please read this at your early convenience? Thank you so much.
I think
for
they definitely did, and I think it was like
1000%.
fanfare and all.
Yeah, there was actually fanfare.
They fanfared it, and then they looked at their slave and said, "Come on, let's go."
You ain't lying.
Actually, can you hand this to slave? Can you hand this to?
Yes.
You give this to my brother Sam
with a white glove and a silver.
Yes, please. And please don't cough on it and don't touch it.
With the white wig, though.
Yeah.
You know the nigga had the white wig on too.
Oh man, thank you.
I'm sorry. This is why I stopped myself. Brittany, listen, whenever Mario goes back in time, my first thing is what time was it and how people were during that time. So I give nobody no passes no more.
No passes.
I feel like
man.
if you're over 60 right now, you get. There was a point in time where you didn't like my people.
There was something about us. Something about us you believed. You believed it.
If you either you didn't or you turned your head.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion about that. So when he definitely goes back to those times, I'd be like, yeah, you know what time it was, and you know what time it is.
And you know what time it is. Hey, that's real. That's real. So these three, that's where from there, Toot Your Own Horn became a thing. Obviously, because these are very important people during a very important time, and these letters are important letters. So Toot Your Own Horn became the thing. Blow your own trumpet. Don't blow your own trumpet. Done in America. Now, if we take it to the 19th century, so another 100 years or so, actually 30-something years, because 1777 was the end of the 18th century. In the 19th century, Anthony Trollope, in his work in Australia and New Zealand in 1873, observed, in the colonies, when a gentleman sounds his own trumpet, he blows. So, I mean, we know, he noticed another thing while he was out in Australia and out in New Zealand to say kind of a similar thing, that the only person that was positive with Toot Your Own Horn was Adams, and Warren. Everybody else is like, the people that do this suck. Don't do it, because the people that do this stink. So he said in 1873, in the colonies, when a gentleman sounds his own trumpet, he blows. He sucks. And maybe John Adams, Sam Adams, and James Warren were terrible fucking people. If we're going by the numbers to say that everyone that did do this was terrible or a hypocrite or blows, and the three that agree, or at least one of them that will agreed enough to say it, who started the country in which we are living in, that is having a little bit of trouble living up to the lie, right? That's what we're saying. So that brings us to current day. That brings us to current day. So that's why I think the don't stands before the do. Where y'all at with it, man? Current feelings on Don't Toot Your Own Horn after you hear about the Adams and the Warrens and how it stands today after 1873 is still kind of negative. Brittany, where you at?
I think that white people are the only ones who can't toot their own horn. I think.
Name it.
And,
you see what I done opened up, Mario?
Name it.
We got to put this on Juneteenth. This one gonna have to come out
on Juneteenth. Yep.
I'm just, I mean, because for us, the things that historically Black and brown, and I guess that new term BIPOC.
I don't use that term.
But anyway, okay. I just had to.
Exactly.
Somebody white used that term with me, and I was just so confused. I'm like, you just talk about people of color. You talking about non-white people. But anyway, if you are non-white, then historically, for you to be where you are, you had to struggle, right? Mm-hmm. We all just agree, to do, anything. Yeah, I mean, our society has, because of white supremacy, has tried to keep anybody who's not white down. It's trying to suppress and oppress us. So, when we do something, we're supposed to big ourselves up because, the greater society will not.
Yes.
And then, if you already got it, if you already have money and access, and then, you bragging about doing more, like a Kim Kardashian for me, You know, when she's talking about all the stuff, all the great stuff she does, I'm like, girl, nobody cares because you were born into this.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where I stand with it.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yo, I ain't gonna lie with you. When you first said, yo, I watch all reality TV shows, I'm like, oh, shit. But you haven't said nothing but negative.
Yeah, like these people are crazy. Is that why you watch? Because they're
You
nuts?
watch it for the chaos.
Oh,
you watch it for the turmoil and the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at these silly people on
Look
TV.
at-
What is happening?
Yeah, you weirdos. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Hey, I'm with it. Listen. We me and Mario. Hey, we're gonna have to do a count on how many times we say this, but me and Mario, we've learned during this show that if people are gonna live outside the norm, they should be able to speak outside the norm too as well. And there's so many people out now living outside the norm and doing whatever they want to do, and living however they want to live and changing whatever they want to change that's been cemented. So why not us being able to speak our mind and speak however we want and know what we're talking about instead of just being scared to say something because we don't know the word or the definition of a word. Then find out the definition, find out the meaning, find out the origin, and decide whether or not you want to talk like this or you don't. You know what I mean? Like, this is why we do what we do. All of us on this panel do what we do to because I feel like we all are seeker of knowledge. We all seek knowledge out. So it's like the number one thing we're here for is to pass that knowledge down. Like, regardless of what you think, there's two things we should be doing on this earth is reproducing and passing down knowledge. That's my personal opinion.
That was pretty good.
But, you know what I'm saying? You come back on that, it's just like a situation. You know what I mean? Like what I was saying, like, you know, we gotta do better. We gotta think differently. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't talk. We don't allow people to talk how they want to talk, but then we don't allow people to be, but we allow people to be who they want to be.
Right. It's
Certain
like,
people.
Yeah, certain people. Exactly. And this is where, let's connect it back to the so 20. Where you so with the tooting of your own horn, are you saying that this is a phrase that empowers folks, except for the oppressive one? Because it's the one. You are the one. The oppressive one.
No. You know what? Honestly, just like you said, bro, like just sometimes knowing the origin of things can change your whole perspective on a thing. And like I said, when I first got on, it was more of a negative tone because that's all I heard it. But now knowing the origin and knowing who was saying it and how they were saying it and how they were trying to keep people down, it's like, no, you're right. No, you're right, Mario. We need to acknowledge when things are going right. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just a situation where we need to toot our own horn because of achievements. We need to toot our own horns because of the experience. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to win, or we're not going to succeed every time, but there's lessons being learned. And I feel like the lessons should be tooted to as well, not just the achievement.
Ooh,
like this is how I never took it. You know what I mean? Not just, oh, this is what I've done, or this is what I made. This is how I made it.
Yeah.
That's what should be more or less tooted as opposed to, yeah, I did that.
Got you.
Yeah, can I add on to that?
Please.
Of course.
So, and I think about my students, and I think a lot of times they see people where they are, and so they may celebrate that, but not recognize. They celebrate what they see in, I don't know, pop culture or anything, and they may aspire to be in a similar place or to do great things, and they need to understand all the work people have done to get to the places they are. Even us as teachers, they just think, oh, you got a job, you got your own car, you got a place to live, life is great. And we're like, well, we had to do all these things to get to where we are, and we want you to recognize you're gonna have to do the same thing. And so when you're right, we have to toot our horn of our accomplishments and the journey. And I also think we need to shift like what we toot our own horn about. So I think, again, just my lens is always students. I work with 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, so they're like highly impressionable, and
that's when you start to realize who you want to be and who you are. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like towards that age, right there at that age, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna focus on this, or I'm gonna just focus on that. You know what I mean? It's not really doing everything and just chasing cars. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a dog chasing cars. You actually have something that you want
Yeah, like a little target.
to build towards.
Exactly. And so I will toot my own horn to them every day about stuff like I wrote a book. Or like I publish short stories. I have 2 short stories that were recently that have been or are being published. Just the things that, like, again, thank you, that society does not necessarily big up. And so,
Man,
you know, they actually think it's cool, and because of the energy that we put behind it. So I do think it's important, especially as a Black person, to toot my own horn.
You know what's crazy about that, Brittany? I say this. Oh, I mean, we had this conversation before, Mario. I think it was no pain, no gain, but it was like a situation where us growing up in the time that we grew up only like I feel like the only way people of color could toot their own horn was either entertainment. You get what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a situation of tooting your own horn from, you know what I mean, working at Publix, which is our grocery store down here, or tooting your own horn, or being, you know, doctors or therapists or engineers, or you know what I mean? Like that's what our parents inspired, because those are the people when they grew up got respect. You get what I'm saying? Like if that kind of puts in place of a situation, like if you're a person of color, you didn't have respect if you wasn't a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like those things in that time of them growing up. So education was solely pushed upon us, as opposed to, you want respect in this world, you got to go to school, go to college, get a good job, stay out of jail. Like that was my like blueprint of becoming a person. You get what I'm saying? Like, and now I feel like that's, you know, so vague, but that's not to put any down on my parents, because my mom worked all my life. She's still working right now. And I feel like that's something that should be tooted, because there's a lot of people that can't hold a goddamn cup of water, let alone a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My dad was a nurse, you know, all my life. He's just retired recently. But, you know, as opposed to when we were growing up, let alone Black men wasn't tooted about being nurses. You get what I'm saying? That was like
that's still
taboo.
Yeah.
Even still,
yeah,
to this day, it's a taboo. But yet, you know, him being a registered nurse helped him take care of his family, helped him, you know, put his kids, gave him a proper education and everything like that. But like those things right there aren't tooted enough, where people are like, man, I can't make it outside of playing ball or being a musician or doing this.
I'm gonna do a 20
once those things don't happen, you don't know what to do. You're 20, 25, 24, and realizing the thing that you've been working on for 10 years isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Now you're like, what can I do now?
Yeah, and we don't, and without the tooting, it doesn't. It creates the platform. It creates the ability to understand that, especially Black folks, that we can and should have as much of the buffet choice as was presented to the rest of society. And without the tooting of those things, experiences as much as achievements. So thank you to you both. It doesn't appear. And then you wait until you're an adult, and you have to have that adult collapse of reality to get re-register. Like, oh, okay, let me figure out what is actually out here for me. So much so, and it's not a negative, but I think it affirms it, is that actually, and me and 20 are close, dog. Like, don't sleep. We're close. I've never really heard him say that about his parents. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not what we do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's important. Hey,
but you know what's crazy?
What's up?
And it's not even my mindset now. I'm just thinking of general pop, bro. Like, if they were like actors or professional athletes, you probably would hear more.
Oh my gosh,
you wouldn't be telling me. The way I'm programmed. You get what I'm saying? Just it sucks that I'm getting out of my programming now, or you know, in the past couple of years, I'm getting away my mindset and how I was programmed growing up. I'm not saying that it was bad or anything, but it wasn't nothing to brag about.
Yeah, no, I get you. It was like
and it sucks, because now being in the moment, being that person that is taking care of the children, the being in a person that is trying to, be in a relationship, a lifelong relationship, that is something to fucking brag about, bro. Like to have to work those many hours. My dad had 2 jobs. My mom had a job, and they're taking care of 5 kids. And all of us, I'll say 1 out of 5 been to jail. But that was on some misdemeanor shit. You know what I'm saying? And that was me. So it's like I can't even be mad at my brothers and sisters. You get what I'm saying? Like their ratio of what they accomplished, you know what I'm saying? Living where we were to where they are now is something to brag about. And it just sucks because society, going back to what you were saying, Brittany, society lets us know or tells us what we should be tooting our horn about and what we shouldn't. And the fact of the matter now is like, no, that's not true. We're living, we're alive, we live, you know what I'm saying? Jesus died. Listen.
I'm listening.
I tell people all the time, I outlived 2 people that are important to me, Tupac and Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like these, you know what I mean? And that's and not saying that they're on a level like this, but it's like these are people that like are recognized for what they've done. You get what I'm saying? So it's so many people that are out there that are doing the best they can in their lives that aren't getting recognized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That aren't getting their horn tooted. So it's like it's a situation where now going back to, because I super digress, going back to the question, Mario. Yes, I feel like right now, man, toot whatever you can, bro, because the kids need to see. They need to see that as different options that'll make them happy. You know what I'm saying? Not just happy in the sense of happy or sad, but there's different options that they can go in life that they'll be okay with. You know what I'm saying? Not just if you don't make it in ball, you can be good. Like being a teacher. You know what I mean? Like even I feel like teachers got more respect back then than they do now. And right now we need you guys the most. We need you guys the most, man, because we're in a level where education isn't the forefront of being successful. So therefore, a lot of people are opting out of school. A lot of people are opting out of education because of the curriculum that they're using back in the day when they wasn't letting us teach or they wasn't letting us go to school. Isn't helping these kids now be creative and further their personal spirit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you guys get underpaid anyway. I'm gonna toot that. I feel like you guys, you know what I mean? There's no way, you guys have the nation in your palm because that's pretty much what the kids are.
I like that.
You know what I mean? You guys are directing the nation in the future, and it's just like the way they do. I don't know.
You got it, bro. Actually, let's because we got a little more.
I don't want to because I feel like if I go on that, it'll be another 20 minutes off the subject.
No, but it's good. It's good because it's the tooting. It's the tooting part. So we digress here. We digress and we circle back. In the circling back, actually, we'll invite more context. So we're about to grade this thing. We can't finish the day without appraising this phrase. So we did the unveiling. We did the confirming. Let's do the assessing. So it's a A through F scale, Brittany. We have 3 grading categories. I'll take care of the power grade. The power grade is, does this phrase have impact? Does it get its point across when you hear it, when you say it? Does it have oomph? Then there's the speed grade that 20 will take care of. Is it just flow off the tongue? Is it nice to say, easy to say, eloquent, sound good? And then there's the guest preference, which is like the wild card. And it's all things included. So the power, the speed, everything now that you know about the origin, the meaning, your personal preference, your personal use, and your personal feelings. So we'll set it up. I'll start us off with the power grade. And toot your own horn, don't toot your own horn. I mean, look, now, I think as far as power goes, it's probably one of the most powerful ones we've done this season 20 because it really is like it affects your personal impression.
Psyche.
Yeah, it's a psyche thing. It's like, damn, it's either suppression or it's over expression. And again, I think we decided on this show who has the right to express and who doesn't at this stage, which I'm going to stand by 10 toes down on like those that haven't been allowed to or have been forcefully told to not toot their own horn should, and those, the Adams and the Warrens who have always gotten to freely toot their own horn. That's how powerful it is that high level politicians of the American Revolution said, do that shit.
Right.
Do that shit. So I'm gonna give it an A+ on impact. It has had amazing impact on our nation, and it has had an amazing. It will have an amazing impact on those who have suffered from our nation. So A+. 20 speed grade, brother.
That's dope, man. When it comes to speed, I think it's less than 5 syllables, even if you add don't. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those situations where it's easy to say. People recognize it as soon as you say it. You know what I'm saying? The recognition of it is just like instant too as well. Yeah, I'll have to stay in the A column too as well when it comes to it. I would say about A-, only because the don't thing. You get what I'm saying? It's a situation where it can mean two things.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say an A-, just on the fact of the matter if you're adding don't or you taking away don't.
Got you. A-, beautifully said.
It will be. I'm so glad. Let me PS this. I'm so glad they changed it because blow your own trumpet would be horrible. That would
it's whack. It's whack. It's so whack. So I'll give whoever. I'll give John Adams, Sam Adams, or James Warren, whoever switched it in that letter. Good job there. All right, Brittany, all things included, your preference, wild card. What you got?
B+.
B+, tell me why.
Well, you know, all the things that you both kind of acknowledged to put it in the A category, just the power behind tooting your own horn, especially for people who historically haven't been encouraged to do so, gives it an A. But I think because I know it was the dandies who like tried to make it a positive thing first, I don't like that. So it kind of brings it down a little bit to a B+. That did, but because you reclaimed it, you know, I'm reclaiming it. So I'll still use it.
I hear you. I would tell you what I'm sorry, guys. This is something that has to be off air. So I'm gonna
okay. You want me to
remember what I'm saying? Because that dandy, you Brittany, you're hitting on something with the dandy shit.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. B+, B+ on the guest preference grade. Okay, before we wrap officially, Brittany, thank you. Tell us again a little bit more in depth about you, Etymology Rules, and how we can find and support what you got going on.
Okay, so as I've mentioned before, Etymology Rules is a brand as well as this first book. So it's a workbook. So it's like exercises in the book, and there's an answer key in the back and everything. And it teaches you about language from like the sounds and letters to the word parts, like prefix, root, suffix, up to word origins, because it all connects. And I think one of the things that inspired me is that there's a lot of people who will reach out to me about etymologies and they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't say good morning because it's mourning, like mourning death. And I'm like, that's not the same. You know, you have to learn how to analyze.
You in there or something?
Yeah. But like there's like a special brand of people in life who think that like homophones are evil, and I mean it'd be wild.
Most people that say happy born day.
Happy born day, telling lies to your vision, like all that shit. And so I was like, let me get some basics. So that's why it's back to the basics. And in addition to that, as I said, middle school reading specialist. So I work with kids who have reading difficulties, dyslexic students, and I write creatively. So I have a couple short stories, and yeah, that's just me.
Hey, talk about it. We are so happy to have you. We are so happy that you do this work. So thank you again. How to support, how to get this book back to the basics, which we all need. Like, I'm going to toot this. We all need that, man. That is the point. I know this show, we hover and we hit some points and we keep it relatively light, and we've added more depth in season 2. But man, like, it takes more. I hope that this sparks. The show is to spark you to your own journey of origin and resource. And this is a tool of resource, man, that someone who's intelligent, thoughtful, and is about what they talk about, walks the walk, has written. So please go support, and we will make that easy for you. Before we get out of here,
I just wanted to say
for sure.
It was on. Sorry, I meant to say it's on my website, etymologyrulescom. And then I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. I'm on everything at Etymology Rules. So follow me, learn some stuff.
Hey, and I'm going to say this on air, and we can work out the details if it works. But I think that there's some synergy, some continued synergy to make sure that both of our missions are accomplished in the time that we have. So ATP and Etymology Rules, I don't think this is the last time you're going to see us, hear us together. So hopefully that's a thing we can do. Now, before we ride out, man, I got my man 20 in the building, and he likes to set us up with a little segment called
The Dictionary of Misinformation. Oh, hit that one more time.
Oh, let's talk to the guy.
The Dictionary of Misinformation. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so what we do right now, Brittany, we ask all our guests. We ask them for a letter A through Z. Ask them not to be petty and pick something like X. But if you pick X, I'm pretty sure we can go ahead and grab something for X. But what this is just our segment at the end of every show. We like to just inform people about things that they might have been misinformed about.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not looking to argue about it. We're not looking to discuss it. We're just here to give you some information that you might have been misinformed about. So go ahead. Whatever, just pick a letter, any letter, and that'll be the last thing you have to say.
Okay. I picked the letter Q.
Ooh, she went petty time.
I did because because the letter Q in English, I tell my kids this all the time. The letter Q has to be followed by the letter U. And like we say that they're married, the Q and U are married. So I always look for words with QU.
That's perfect. All right, let me get to it. I'm getting right to it. Okay, there's some. All right, so this part is fun for me because then I am now in control. Oh, this one's interesting now. Now this is long, so bear with me. Okay, usually we do this quicker, but I actually want to read this through. Let's talk about some quicksand, y'all. Y'all want to get informed on some quicksand? Okay, so quicksand does not suck you under or pull you down. That is not what happens. Its density is greater than that of water, so it is more buoyant than water, not less, meaning that a person's body will not sink so far into quicksand as it would into water. Okay, so let's see. Quicksand is said to be differentiated from the sand found at seashores and in golf bunkers by the shape of its grains. All right, I'm looking for more things. So it's the effect of the upper water pressure that makes it like kind of trappish, but it's actually not a big trap. But there is no way to identify quicksand by eye. Like there is no real. It looks like regular sand. Like you know how in Super Mario where like the quicksand was darker than the regular sand.
You gotta jump across.
You gotta jump across. Yeah, you gotta be very fast with it. If you do fall into quicksand, the victim will not go completely under. He may or she may, however, end up with only his head showing. And that would be hilarious. And that's only if you like start wilding out. Okay, if you like start waving crazy. So it's not a myth. There is quicksand, however, it is not a deadly hazard, and it's something that you can't tell the difference between regular sand and quicksand. That's all.
You know what's crazy about it? That you all your life you're calling it quicksand. But yeah, it's not nothing quick about it.
It's not quicker than other sand, and it's damn sure not quicker than water. You will sink.
All right, y'all.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Look now, my man 20, what's up? Thank you again.
Never took it.
Always a pleasure, bro. Always my pleasure, man.
Please find us on Apple Podcasts. I'm gonna interrupt you, huh?
No, I'm just I'm undertoning you. That's all.
You do it so well too. You are a great ad libber. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We are brought to you by the Underdog Podcast Network. And before you go, Do every artist that you rock with ad lib. See if you can get it. I've named 3. And remember, before we get out of here, as you're living your life, that value is in the eye of the appraiser. We will check you out next week.